This is for the Ohio State Board of Cosmetology and Barber Board. We are packing the kit for State Board for you to take your State Board. So your papers to take the State Board you should have got from your school. And this tells you everything, the front page tells you everything you need to take the State Board. So you need to read these thoroughly before you go to State Board and see what you need to take with you. Then you have your examination dress code. You have a dress code. You need to read that. Your mannequin head requirements. Your mannequin hand requirements. And then it gives you a suggested general supply list. Here's your suggested general supply list. You need to have all these things on hand, and I'm going to go through the bag and show you what we have. So the next page, after you read all of that and see what to take, and I will get into this in just a minute. These are your practical exams. First, we're going to go through the kit and how to pack it. First of all, you need a hospital-grade sanitizer to sanitize with. This is called Citrus 2. You can buy this at Cosmoprof. You can buy it at Sally's. It's like $5.95 or $6.95 a bottle. The reason why you have to use this is because you need the label. They want to see the label that it's hospital grade, 100%. So you can't take other things that doesn't have the label on the bottle. So this is the best one to take to sanitize with. You need 3 garbage bags, kitchen garbage bags. They're the 13 gallon. These are kitchen size garbage bags. You need 1 in the room where you do the manicure and the facial, and you need 2 in the other room where you do the other things. You also need hand sanitizer. It's best to take one with a pump because it's convenient for you. These things are going to be sitting on your counter the whole time. Whichever room you're in, these are going to be setting out because you constantly have to sanitize your hands and you have to sanitize your counter. After each thing that you do, you have to sanitize every time. Sanitize your hands every time before you touch something that you haven't touched before. Okay? So those are the things that will be out on your counter. Also, in the room where you do your haircut, you'll have your water bottle setting out. The other utensils that you're going to be using will be in a cabinet at your station. And you can get back in that cabinet at any time to get anything out that you need. All right, so let's go through the kit. Of course, you need your mannequin to do everything on. Now, you have to remove her eyes, her eyebrows, her lips. You have to remove everything. So to do that, you have to use acetone polish remover to get all that off. They don't want to see any face on your mannequin. All right, so you need to do that before you go to State Board. This is your hair cutting bag. You can mark what is in the bag, but you can't list what's in the bag. That's cheating, so you can't do that. So in your hair cutting bag, you have shears, you have your razor that you have to use, your clips to part your hair off, your combs, and your, there is a neck strip in here. You need a couple neck strips. You can test your iron on your neck strip. When we get to that, we'll talk about that. And of course, your cape. And you need to use a kitty cape because the mannequin's necks are not as large as a regular neck. And you don't want all that long cape hanging down. It gets twisted around the mannequin, so be sure to get a kitty cape. And the towel, the cloth towel that you have to put under your cape will hold that cape in place. Because if you're doing your test and it slips down, you have to fix it, stop what you're doing, fix it, pull it back up, sanitize your hands, and go back to doing what you're doing. They don't stop the clock for anybody, so don't fiddle around and take a lot of time doing that. Next is your manicuring bag. Your manicuring implements are listed in the materials. This is how you pack every bag for everything that you're going to be doing. You got your massage cream. You can use any kind of cream. You can use cholesterol or any kind of cream to do your hand massage with. I recommend this cuticle solvent you can get at Sally's because it's thick and it won't run anywhere. So I recommend you getting this cuticle solvent. You need oil and you need it either with a dropper or this bottle has a little hole in it, you can just drop a drop on. You can't touch any of those things to the mannequin hand. That's unsanitary. You have to, the two metal things that you have to have in your kit for the manicure is the nippers and the metal pusher. So those are two of the only metal things that you need in your bag. Then you have your brush and your bowl, and you have some cotton rounds or something when you use your buffer to take the massage cream off the hand. And you got everything in your bag has to be marked in English. So every little thing that you have in your bag has to be marked what is in the container. They said everything in English, and you'll read that in the rules. Next, you have your permanent wave. You have your permanent wave rods. You have your papers. You have gloves, because you have to put your gloves on when you're showing them how to put the solution on. And your bottle has to say perm solution. It's only water, so you just put water in it. You also have the cotton. The cotton is wrapped around your rods, and you wrap from the crown to the nape, just that one section down the back. And you have to roll it all the way to the bottom. So the permanent wave wrap comes after the haircut. So I don't recommend taking anything larger than a gray rod, because you don't know how short you're going to make your haircut, and you have to be able to roll all the way to the bottom. So I don't recommend taking anything larger than a gray rod. You might even throw a couple pink ones in your bag just to make sure. It doesn't matter if you have two different colors, that's rod graduation. They will come around and they will ask you to show them how to apply the solution, and it's the top two rods up in the crown, and you have to show them on top of the rod, and you have to lift the rod up and on the bottom of the rod. And you don't go back and forth like you're drawing a picture. You go across once, and then go back over it twice. And they're gonna ask you to show them a wave pattern. So when they come around and ask you, you unwrap it 2.5 turns, and because it's wet, one of those two rods, it will fall into a wave. That's all they want to see. That's for permanent waving. And you have to have your gloves on. After you get it wrapped, you will put your gloves on, you will get your bottle of perm solution, and you will stand there and wait for them to come and ask you. Have your gloves on, because you need them on when you're putting the solution on. Okay, so if you have the gloves in your bag, you won't forget. All right, that's why we do these bags like this. Then you have your facial bag. You have your toner, you have your massage cream and cleansing cream, and you have a headband or a plastic cap that you can hold the hair back with. You don't have to really necessarily cover the whole head. You can use a headband, just have to have the hair off the face, okay? Now, when you're doing your cleansing cream, they're gonna tell you, this is what they're gonna speak to you. They're gonna tell you to put on the cleansing cream first, after you sanitize your hands. 5 drops, forehead, nose, chin, cheek. Always rub up. Do not put it in the eyeballs. You gotta pretend like it's a real person. So only the eyelids. You rub it around a little bit, up strokes, then you take your cotton rounds and you tissue that off, and then they will tell you to put the massage cream on and stand there and wait for them to tell you what the next step is. You put the massage cream on the same way. It's the same substance in both cups. They're just marked with cleanser and massage cream. That's all you have to do. And then you rub in your massage cream and stand there and wait for them to tell you what movements they want to see. You have to do first friction is on your forehead. You can either do up and down movements across the frontalis, or you can do half C's, or you can do the headache movement. That's friction. Taphomet, you can tap around the eyes. The other two are at the bottom. Petrissage is pinching from one side to the other. Effleurage is the scissor movement on the chin. Always slide back to your facial nerve center in front of the ear when you're finishing. Back up to your temporal nerve center, and then feather off. And they will tell you to finish up. All you need to know is what that means. You get out your toner bottle and you put it on your cotton rounds and you wipe the face with it. That's what they mean by finishing up. So that's all for the facial. Very simple. Your color and your relaxer. You only need one bowl, one container. You do not need a color bowl, so don't even take one. You put your product in your container. You mark color on one side and relaxer on the other. And you change it. You just change your bowl around, okay? You do the color side first on the right side of the head, and then they'll come and tell you, okay, we checked your color side. You're gonna do your relaxer on the left side of the head, all right? So, and then you just turn your bowl around and you get a clean brush out. So you need to take at least 2, if you have dropsy, take 3 brushes in case you might drop one. So you need to change your brush when you go to the relaxer side and change your gloves. So make sure you take a couple pair of gloves. You have your foils in there for your foils. When you're doing your color side, your retouch goes in this front section, your color retouch. You outline your quadrant after you put your protective cream just around the hairline. You do not base the relaxer side. You only base the hairline and the ears all the way around. And you do that with gloves on, of course. Put your gloves on, do your base. You're gonna do color side. Retouch is right here. You outline your quadrant before you start. If you get color, so to speak, you're not using color, but if you get it on the skin, it's okay to wipe it off. Don't leave it there. They'll ding you for that. No color on the skin whatsoever. You start up here at this point, taking your 1/4 inch subsections, and they want you to show a 2-inch regrowth. And the color retouch goes on the scalp, not away from the scalp. It goes on the scalp, 2 inches, front and back. Then when you come back to the back section, right here for your foils, part your section off right above the ear, clip that up out of the way, and you're gonna start at the bottom. You're gonna do 4 foils up to the top of the ear. And they wanna see an 1/8 of an inch weave in your foil. So you're gonna pick up a 1/4 of an inch subsection and you weave out of the surface of that section and you'll have an 1/8 of an inch. Very simple. Fold your foils up and that's your color side. They will come around and check and they'll say, okay, let's get ready for the relaxer side. You're then gonna change your gloves after you sanitize your hands and you're gonna get in your cabinet. You're gonna get another brush out, turn your bowl around where it says relaxer. And you're gonna do the virgin relaxer up here in front and you're gonna do the retouch relaxer back behind the ear. So the virgin is what they come around when you're finished and have you show them how to smooth. So you smooth with the back of a comb, of course, and that's when it will go on the scalp, okay? So it's 1/4 away from the scalp for the virgin, all the way down, and you only leave off 1 inch at the ends with nothing on it, just 1 inch. That's very small. So your color is, or your relaxer is 1 inch away from the scalp and 1 inch away from the ends. And you cross-check when you get that done and bring them down. Then you go to the one behind the ear. You're gonna do a retouch relaxer. That is 1/8 of an inch away from the scalp, just barely away from the scalp. You still have to do a 2-inch regrowth on both sides of your subsection. And then they make you smooth the virgin, not the retouch. They'll come and ask you to do that. So you just show them how to smooth. Okay, so that's all for that. You need 6 cloth towels because you need to change the towel for your chemicals from your, let's see, the first thing you're doing in that room would be your curl with your iron, okay? You can use a spring iron if you like, or you can use a Marcel iron. It is hot, you do plug it in, okay? You have to test it first on paper. Then you have to warm the base on both sides with your iron, make your curl on base, and take your comb, the teeth side, underneath the barrel so they can see that you're protecting the scalp. that's what you need to do with your iron. So either one, it's your choice. If you want a Marcel or you want a spring iron, that's fine. You also need a first aid kit. If something would happen and you cut yourself, you would raise your hand, ask to go to the dispensary, wash your hands. Like I said, the clock doesn't stop for you. So you go to the dispensary, you wash soap and water. You have to have an extra little baggie in here because you have to double bag a blood spill. So if you have a paper towel with blood on it, don't just throw it in your garbage can. You need to put it in another bag and then in the garbage bag. That's double bagging, okay? So make sure you take your little first aid kit, okay? All you need is Band-Aids and, something, you're gonna put your glove back on over it.
Antiseptic.
Antiseptic, you got some antiseptic in your first aid kit. But you do that as fast as you can and get back to your haircut because like I said, the clock doesn't stop for you and you have 30 minutes to part your haircut off and get it done.
You can label Ziploc baggie with first aid.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. All right, this is your hand for your manicure. You can make it with the glove that you wash dishes with. It doesn't matter what color it is. You are going to fill it with flour, rice, birdseed, whatever you choose to fill it with. But it has to be flexible but sturdy. Then you glue your tips on your nails with super glue. Now I recommend after you do that, take your little bottle of super glue and glue it to this part of the glove just in case one would pop off. You have your glue, okay? You don't have to go looking for it. You don't have to fret about it. So what they want to see when you start filing is each one is the same length and you just have to demonstrate corner to center, corner to center. That's what they want to see. And the first thing you're going to do when you start your manicure, you'll have your table clean before you put your things out on the table. And then you're going to sanitize your hands first and then this hand. You sanitize both sides of this hand before you start, okay? So we're gonna go through the manicure. On your list of practical exams, each one, for instance, your client and your setup and client protection, verbal instructions, they read to you each one of these, for each one of these things you're gonna do. The proctor reads those to you, okay? Everyone, before you start, they're going to read you the verbal instructions. And if you know how to follow instructions, just do what they read you. That's all you have to do. If you do each and every one of these things in the procedure, you will not lose any points whatsoever. That's how you gain or lose points. You follow these procedures for each one. They come and look at your final appearance, your end task, maintains your neck protection, draped throughout procedure, disposes of soil material, follow all infection control guidelines, that's cleaning your station and your hands, and maintains your work area in a safe manner. So those are the kind of things that you have read this before that you go to state board. So later on, in another video, we will go through each and every one about the procedure that you're going to be doing, okay? So they give you time for setup. They read that to you also, and you'll have time to set your things up in every room that you're in. Two different rooms. You're in one room for the manicure and facial. You do the manicure first, and then you do the facial procedure, and you have a drawer in your table. So when you're setting up, you clean inside your drawer in the manicure table, the top of the table, and while you're doing that, you need to set your mannequin up on the end of the table, put your clamp on, put your mannequin on, you can put her cap on or her headband, whatever you take, and that can already be set up for you for your facial when you're finished with your manicure. So on your manicure, you have everything set up on your table. They have 3 sinks in that room. You can get a little bit of water in your bowl. You don't need to put much in, just a tiny little bit in the bottom. And when you're finished using that, you just rip off one of your paper towels and soap up the water and throw it in the garbage bag. Before you leave the room, you'll pick up the garbage bag that you brought with all your things in it, your metal things, your sticks, your files. You are polished. Everything will be in the garbage bag when you are finished. You don't lay anything back on your table that you had in your hand. When you pick something up and use it, when you're finished with it, it goes in the garbage bag. It does not get laid back on the table because you contaminate everything else on the table. Okay? So everything should be cleaned off when you're finished with your manicure. You turn your hand around facing out to them and they'll know you're finished. They're going to come and check and they'll tell you, okay, let's get ready for your facial. Your facial bag is in the drawer of the table, and all you have to do is clean the top of your table, get your facial bag out, get everything out of your facial bag and lay it on the table and stand at the end of the table. You're standing up for your facial. Pull your mannequin back to you and you're going to stand up and do the movements and the massage cream and the cleansing cream and so on and so forth. Okay? So in another video, we'll go through some of the other things that you'll be doing. But that's all for now.
If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. Thank you.